So without a doubt, you've seen the coin shop owner gets his bank account closed videos. They've been spreading like wildfire, and the YouTube algorithm knows you've seen it. Why? Because I saw it too. Like before Salivate Metal's video on it and T the Silver Stalker's video, I think they made sure that we all saw it. Isn't that kind of funny? They wanted to warn us. But it's actually pretty funny because, you know, watching that video, I sat there and I thought to myself, like, why was this gentleman so surprised? Because when you really know the banking industry and how they operate, it's really funny. Like, and I watched T's video on it. I watched Salivate Metal's video on it. Kind of made, it seem like that, no, let me be clear. It didn't make it seem, but one of the things I expected to see from these videos about, the guy getting his bank account closed was, they're coming for silver stackers, they're coming for coin shops, they're coming, it's because of CDBC or the government's cracking down on this and that. No, none of those things. And this is not anything that's changed. It's not anything that's different, period. So the interesting part too is, like, when you think about the bank, half the people there don't know anything about anything, even with regard to banking. It's a very leveled system. It's a very tiered system where the amount of knowledge kind of, goes from the ground up. I mean, you got your tellers. Actually, the tellers probably know quite a bit. They're the ones who kind of do the real work at any banking branch. But, things like this, for example, this guy who got his account closed, you call the bank, you go to talk to the manager, they have no control. This isn't 1960. They have no control over what goes on in your account. If you get your account closed, first, those things are done by typically the fraud department for various reasons. Not because necessarily you committed any type of fraud or anything like that, but just because you, for whatever reason, due to the algorithm or other things, you fell into a certain category, and the system says, hey, we need to close this account down, this relationship. We're going to sever this relationship. Now, we all know right off the bat, you have no control over what the bank does. You sign your life away when you open an account. Your assets aren't yours, and we'll close it without notice for any reason, and we don't have to tell you the reason. That's basically the agreement that you sign into anytime you open a bank account. It is what it is. Should it be that way? I mean, who knows? But that's the reality. The thing is too that ever since the Patriot Act, like, the reasons that they can close these accounts, have just become, wide array of different categories. The other part about it is, like, trying to get an answer. The reality is, like, when those things happen, the bank's not going to reverse course. You're not going to call someone and clear it up and they're going to say, hey, you're right. No, these things are completely automated at this point. One thing that again that people don't understand, it's like anything, right? Like, you go into a car manufacturer, an auto dealership, and you think people there know about cars, or no, not necessarily. They may not know a damn thing about cars. The service advisor at the dealership, they know that car. They don't know any. They're salespeople. You're surrounded by salespeople. It doesn't matter what field it is. Everyone's a salesman of some kind. The real people with the knowledge, I mean, those days are gone. I mean, for the most part. But one of the things that, again, as far as, the mechanisms of how these things work, that's interesting that, again, people don't understand, because it wouldn't be something that you think about. For example, the business bankers, when they open your accounts, it's a pretty easy process. People just roll into the bank with their LLC documents, their state document, whatever, their articles, and they open a business account. Oh, I'm a businessman. Look at me. The thing is, what you don't get is, every business banker, the people who open, business accounts at your local business or your local banking branch, these people have a sheet that shows them what type of businesses they can open accounts for. And if they open, it's usually like green, yellow, and red as far as, a risk analysis on different types of businesses. I mean, the ones that would be obvious that you would be in the red category would be like weapons, drugs of any kind, money changers. So this is one of the interesting things as far as where coin shops fall, and I think this is going to become more and more prevalent. And it occurred to me that why this hasn't been more widespread than it is, because Really? I mean, one of the big things about, silver, gold, blah, 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 is be your own bank. You're outside the system. No, you still deal in fiat. So, no, you're not outside the system. You're not your own bank. You still, just like the coin dealer. Isn't it funny? Isn't that ironic? Coin dealer depend on the bank. Well, it's a business, Chris. Of course he has to depend on the bank. But I thought you were your own bank. Why are you so sad that you don't have a bank anymore? Again, all of these mantras and things like, well, but I'm going to be my own bank in the apocalypse. Good luck with that. Anyway, the interesting thing is, like, this coin shop, business model, high cash kind of things can be off the record. And the guy went, at length to talk about how, oh, I do everything by the book, and I do. The bank doesn't care about that stuff. The bank doesn't care about that. The bank looks at it as, is the juice worth the squeeze? How much money am I really making off this guy having an account here? But what are the possible ramifications if he gets rolled up for fraud or blah 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 and cash, and is it worth it? No, I got 50 other people walking in every hour to open accounts. I don't need his business. That's the same for any coin shop. And you have to look at it from the business side again, especially post Patriot Act. The Patriot Act, for so many different things, honestly, like, I don't think it really made us that much safer. I mean, especially domestically, maybe abroad, it helped, us find, intelligence on other things. But the Patriot Act really, they think of things like TSA. When you travel at the airport, I mean, do those people really look like they're going to find something if someone was determined to get something through? I mean, it's been proven they fail constantly. You can thank the Patriot Act. Just so many different things like that. I mean, that were veiled under the guise of additional security. But these are the prices that you pay. I mean, the banking sector is one of the big things that, the information they need, how much oversight they have. It's the world that we live in. But when you hear things like this, like, oh, they also close my personal accounts. Yeah. If you're, a risk factor on your business, they don't want your business at all. It's not worth it. They don't make anything off of you. Why would they? If you were a business owner, you wouldn't want their business either. And I wouldn't be surprised to see these things happen more and more often. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. And it's a business decision. It's not, Joe Biden and President Xi, they're working together to get out the coin shops because, they don't want people being their own banks. I wouldn't be surprised to see an infomercial like talk about that. This is from Gold and Silver Savings. Did you know that they're coming from you? Stop. Ridiculous. This is normal business practices. And again, I'm surprised that coin shops in general are allowed to have bank accounts because, again, there's so much that can happen off the radar there with exactly what the coin shops tell people. Hey, it's your own bank. You can you don't need to transact in money. This is what in cash. This is another thing that I see with gold backs coming in the future. That businesses that deal with gold back, well, but it's backed by the state. Doesn't mean the banks have to look at that kindly. The banks don't like that kind of stuff. They don't like anything to do with that kind of stuff. And the more that you buy into these gimmicks and blah blah blah, it's going to be this and that. Gold back, it's a collectible. It's a high premium collectible, just like any other. I mean, the same people who buy gold backs will tell you don't buy high premium coins. But I mean, this is the world that we live in. But when you see videos like that and you're thinking, the first thing you think of is that it's a conspiracy and Joe Biden and Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell, they're looking at the coin shops, that they're going to make sure that we can't get real money. I'm so waiting for Yankees video on it. That's going to be like, Joe Biden, Tim's going to be like, Joe Biden did this. Joe Biden closed my bank. Ridiculous. Point being, normal business practice. The business banker at any bank, if they have been there for any time, time period, can tell you you're going to be on the higher risk if you're dealing in cash like that. And especially if, it's not again, this is one of the other things about coin shops that for me, if I was looking at that from a bank business standpoint, nowadays, most stuff is done by card. Most transactions are done, through credit of some type, either a debit card, a credit card, that kind of thing. When you're dealing in high cash like that, and again, coin shops, we know they don't accept cards, typically. There you go. Again, maybe it's a cabal of the bullion dealer. It's JM Bullion and MX they're doing this. It's A-Mark that's orchestrating this with they're lobbying the Biden administration. See how people get ridiculous with this? But you could go down any rabbit hole and create any ridiculous narrative that you want. I love it. Great stocking to you.